Hello again, everyone. Uh, Look, I just encapsulated the four charts we created before into different functions. Yeah, in Python, make tree map, make icicle, and so on. They return a figure, and definitely, yeah, I have this call, and I pass the figure to the ST plotlight chart. Nothing different, nothing special. They all get as parameters, labels, and parents, exactly what we had before. And as usual, yeah, I launched our local web server with this new separate file. So it's up4py. Uh, the way the charts are rendered are one below the other, and that's not very pleasing. Is there a way to show them one by one? Let's see. Look, in Streamlit, you have something called expander. You can say ST expander, and you can say, okay, this would be tree map, and you can say with this expander, okay, you will do this, and you separate whatever you have below, and let's do this for each of these charts. This will basically create a collapsible panel, and we'll see how it goes. But first of all, let's finish this icicle sunburst. Okay, and funky. If we do this, so I will click on always rerun, and you can see, yeah, definitely I can see eventually one chart at a time. Yeah, of course I can expand more than one panel. By default, they are collapsed. I can specify if I want them by default expanded. Let's say tree map, and I can say, you see here, expanded would be true. And yeah, this already refreshed. I can refresh it again, and you see the first one is automatically expanded. But it's still not ideal. What we can do as well, and just okay, until we do this, let's do something different. This would be you can pass into a variable the expander you create, and then say here specify the expander instead. Expander 2, expander 2. So that's another way of doing this. Okay, you can see. Let's refresh it just to make sure. And the icicle in our case, yeah, it's built the same way, but here plotlight chart, yeah, we call it from the variable that we created before as an expander. So that's another way to do it. And you'll see we have different containers, yeah, because these are containers, component containers that we create like this. Uh, these are the two different ways to call them. You either pass the created object to a variable, and you can replace st with that variable as a container, or you can say with this expander, so with this variable basically, and automatically this output controls like this well will be rendered within the current container. But there is, as I was saying, there is another way to do it with tab controls. You can say tabs is st tabs. See, okay, and here you can pass an array of page names, and I have the same. I will have a tree map. I will have a icicle. I will have sunburst, a burst. Okay, and I will have sunky. So in this case, this will return an array of four different tabs. And what I can say is with tabs 0, okay, you get the point. Or, of course, here the alternative is call directly tabs 1. Here I will say tabs 2. Here tabs 3. Okay, let's see how it goes. Oh, you see? Tree map, icicle, sunburst, and sunkey. Nice. That's a tab control. And that's the way you build it. And you see the two different ways of using it with a with keyword or without the with keyword when you pass directly a value. What you can do also, you can say T1, T2, T3, T4. So initialize it this way, and then you will have with T1 you do this, with T2, with T3, with T4. Okay, so let's make sure it's refreshed. It is. Yeah, you get the same result. Be aware that we've seen before in our Streamlit architectural diagram for the front end that the layout components are in fact static containers for the other controls, for both input interactive controls and output rendering controls. When I'm saying they are static components, this means that yes, they may have dynamic behavior, but programmatically, in Streamlit, they don't throw events and you cannot capture events. So, for instance, if you switch a tab control to a new tab page, you cannot control this from your program. You cannot determine to fill in the page only when the page becomes visible. There are not so many layout components, so learn them and use them. They are in fact very simple. Uh, with a minimalistic approach of Streamlit, they are very easy to use. And look, the next slide, you can use it as a cheat sheet if you want. But until then, let's review them one by one. Sidebar, you have a collapsible left sidebar, and this can be only one. Unlike all the other components here, you cannot create the sidebar. The sidebar is already there. You can specify if you want it initially expanded. When you populate it with controls, it will start automatically expanded, and you can collapse it and expand it anytime if it is not empty. So, unlike other controls, you'll see when you, let's say, write something in the sidebar, you have to say st.sidebar.write. st tabs, yeah, that's a group of tab pages as we've seen before. And you have to pass an array with uh, page header names. st columns, that's a group of side-by-side horizontal containers. We experimented with Expander, which is a collapsible container, collapsed by default. ST container will create a multi-element container. ST-empty, it's a single element placeholder with text replace. We'll just see next how they all work. I created a screen with all these different types of components here. Let's have a look. On top, we have a container that you usually create with ST container. I have a demo here. If you write first in outside the second in, you see, and you reference the container, for the ST write outside there, for anything that you write outside the container, it will not appear in the container. So that's a proper way of instantiating the container and then referring to this container whenever you want to do something inside. ST tabs, as we've seen before, yeah, definitely you can pass an array of page names, and you can refer to individual pages instantiated this way to write something within or to populate the content. The expander, that's a collapsible panel, as we've seen before, and by default, expanded is false. Yeah, so it will be collapsed by default. The way you use it is, yeah, definitely you can use a with syntax as we've seen before, or the instantiated variable. And here on top you have a collapsed container. At the bottom you have an expanded container. Yeah, with expanding, and this is expanded. As I said, columns will create horizontal panels, yeah, because by default you can see the panels, containers are laid out one below the other. So we need something like this if you want to create multiple columns. STMT. This is interesting because this will create one single cell. If you already wrote something with ST let's say in that cell, the next ST will overwrite what you had before there. So the text will no longer appear one below the other, the way it happens in a regular container. The sidebar. As I said, you have to use a slightly different syntax here because you have only one sidebar. So this is like a static object. You cannot create multiple objects because this can be only one, and it is already there always. So in this case, let's say if you create a select box, normally you do it with st dot select box, as we'll see next time. But in this case, if you create it in the sidebar, you have to say st sidebar select box. Or, yeah, of course, you can use always with syntax with st sidebar, and right below have something like st select box.